Coming to you live from the Stream.TV studios in Hollywood, California, Pensado's Place is brought to you by Vintage King, the Blackbird Academy, Avid, Recording Connection, Studio 202, Slate Media Technologies and Slate Digital, and Audio-Technica.
Our guests today are a black dude and a white dude named Dave and Herb.
Which one am I?
You're the black dude. We do have a brand new ITL. We're going to call this one the Afterglow Show and give you a little peek behind what was an epic weekend for us. You're at the place. It's Pensado's Place.
Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. I promise that this is going to be a lot of fun. You're gonna see a little different, lighter side of Pensado's Place today. We're gonna kind of fill you in on some things that happened recently, right, Herbert?
Yeah, we're kind of beat up around the edges, and we think that's okay. And what we really want to do is, well, why don't we get started and we'll tell them what we want to do. Can we do that?
Sure.
Cool. Hey folks, always good to see you. As I said earlier, if we seem a little beat up around the edges, frankly, it's a good beat up. We feel pretty good about the way we're beat up. So bear with us. We had an extraordinary weekend. How many days later is it? 4? Since we taped this on Wednesdays, Tuesday, you guys 4. See it a little bit later. So 4 days later, as I've checked with the team and people who went and all that kind of stuff, there still seems to be an afterglow. So we're going to call this the Afterglow Show. If you'd indulge us, we want to share a little bit of it with you. We will air the award show July 10th. That's when we'll post it. I'll double check that date. But essentially a week from Thursday is when we'll air this. Let's get some quick business out of the way. Likes and subscribes, please do. Our amazing title sponsors, my God, particularly it was evident in the last weekend. Vintage King. From what I understand, they're having their big annual summer sale starting this Tuesday coming up. Great gear. Check into that. Get to the website. The Blackbird Academy, Audio-Technica, Recording Connection, Slate Media and Slate Digital, Recording Connection in Studio 202. Unreal. And we'll tell you more about that. Got a new company that reached out just recently. Dave, you're a big fan of this company. They're dipping their toe into the Pensado waters for the first time. Give us your feelings about Eventide.
Well, I've been using Eventide forever. Can I tell you a quick story?
Sure, man.
Can I tell you a long story?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. My buddy Larry Turner back in Atlanta, I didn't know anything. I don't think Larry and I had actually started becoming engineers, and Larry bought an Eventide 910, their very first product. A truck had a wreck, and it was a bit destroyed, but I used to hang out at places that sold salvage, and I used to hang out at Goodwill, and I used to hang out at those kind of places. And Larry bought it because he had money. We neither one of us had money. He had more than I did, and we thought we had owned the world.
Right.
I mean, we were so proud of that.
Yeah.
And it actually helped Larry get some gigs, helped me get some gigs, and that was the first piece of gear that I ever kind of spent time with. And
well, I know when I brought them up to you that they had called and reached out, you had a really overt reaction to their stuff and how they.
No, Eventide is it's one of those companies that I'm trying to think of something they've made that didn't enhance my skills on every level. I didn't master the omnipressor until later on, but. If I had to pick one that probably had a learning curve to it, that would be it. But
are you using their Ultra Channel strip? Do you use that?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Dylan hit me to the free version, and I got that real early on, and I fell in love with it. I think I mentioned it. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but when I went to Nashville and worked at Blackbird tracking Tori and Summer, a girl group, I had an acoustic guitar, and I put it on that acoustic guitar, and it was like life-changing. The filters on that thing are incredible. It's got a pitch section to it, classic harmonizer. You know, they do that as good as anybody. It's got saturation. It's got transformer emulation to kind of fatten up your low end. It's got a delay unit. It's got 2 compressors. It's got a 5-band parametric EQ, and then the 2 filters. And you can move each module around so that you can put the EQ before the compressor or after the compressor. And there's a lot of gear out there. The thing about Eventide is I have a comfort factor with them. I've been using their equipment since before I was an engineer, and I know what to expect. I think it's safe to say they kind of invented pitch change. At the very least, pioneered it, and still to this day, they're the top at it. So, I have a 2016.
Wow.
Every #1 record I've ever had has a 2016 on it. They probably don't want me to say that because they don't make it anymore. But keep those cards and letters coming. Let's get them to make another 2016, you know, guys. But my point is that we're blessed, Herb, to work with the cream of the crop in terms of sponsors.
Yeah.
They care. All our sponsors care, not just Eventide. But they create tools without which us guys that really love this thing called audio would have a much less fun, harder time.
Let's tell them. So the Ultra Channel.
That was quick, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it's great. The Ultra, well, because it's real, because it's true. So they have an Ultra Channel strip giveaway running right now for free. Get your buns there and go get it. Here's what you do. Copy and paste access code OAC66C7E. You'll see it right there. Then go also right here, http://bit.ly/ultra channel. You can also see that right there. This offer ends July 8th. So free from Pensado's Place and the good folks at Eventide. You want to get this thing. Dave uses it. It's an incredible piece of gear.
Oh, I use it every day.
Last little piece, as we always do, it's just what Dave and I do. We always spend time getting to know the people before we say, cool, we'll do something on the show.
Great team over there.
I spent a bunch of time on the phone with Ray Maxwell and his crew over there, get our full seal of approval. As Dave pointed out, they care about you. They have pride in their product. Take advantage of this hard. Go get it and hit it hard. Dave, you got an ITL for us?
Brian put something pretty kind of special together. I kind of gave him a bunch of ideas, and I think he assembled it into something that really is kind of cool. So I'm going to be surprised like you. Here we go. Guys, I've fallen in love with this song, The Way by Macy Gray. And I really like what I did on these vocals. I didn't do anything 100% different than I usually do, but I want to share with you what I did because there's a couple of things that might give you some ideas the next time you get a vocal. This was pristinely recorded by my friend Royal Z and Macy's producer and co-writer of the song. This is the song, this is what I was given.
Baby, I called to say I gave up that narcotic.
Now, what I've done is I de-essed it. And I was talking to my friend Dylan yesterday, and he said that anybody that puts a de-esser first is just not a very good engineer. So I put my de-esser first. Here we go.
Baby, I called to say I gave up that narcotic.
This is currently my favorite de-esser by FabFilter. I was hanging out at Eric Valentine's place, and he told me the story behind this PIE compressor, and I've kind of started using it a lot on vocals.
Baby, I called to say I gave up that narcotic.
Now, in this part of the song, it's
But
probably
ever since I quit,
it's not working that hard down here.
Stage, and when I get there, will you be there?
So all I'm really trying to do with the PIE is make this compressor a little happier. So let's check that out.
Hey baby, I called to say I gave up that narcotic. But ever since I quit, I ain't got much to say. And I found out that loving a man is overrated. 'Cause she's been nicer to me than you've been all day.
Nothing. We don't really need to do anything drastic. Now this is what I'm doing EQ wise. I'm using the Fab filter again. The main reason I'm using this is I had some frequencies that I wanted to isolate. Like I couldn't find this frequency, so.
Hey baby, I called to say I gave up that narcotic. But ever since I quit, I ain't got much to say.
So you can see the frequencies that I'm messing with here. And then I'm rolling everything below. I'm not gonna give you the exact number, it's in the 80s, but just say 100, make it even. And then here's the little bad boy on the whole thing. Watch this. Let me move my start time. I'm starting a little late.
Baby, I called to say I gave up that narcotic. But ever since I quit, I ain't got much to say.
I tell you what, guys, on vocals right now, the high end on this is just my favorite sound. Watch this.
Baby, I called to say I gave up that narcotic. But ever since I quit, I ain't got much to say.
Now, I'm not doing a lot of compression, maybe a little bit up here when it happens once in a while, but you can add a compressor to each one of these channels. So I think of this as not a multiband compressor, but an equalizer that allows me to have a dynamic quality to the different frequencies. But this is the price of admission right here, this little guy right here. Check this out. Get a demo. I think you'll like it on a lot of things. I use it on bass. Sometimes I'll sidechain this bad boy, and then instead of bringing the entire bass down, I can bring down just whatever frequencies I select over here. So I might, if it's 112 cycles, I've got that. I've shown you all this before. Now, I'm not going to go over all of these. I've done most of these before. If there's one you really like, let me know and I'll go back and add it. But
baby, I called to say I gave up that narcotic. But ever since I quit, I ain't got much to say. And I found out that loving a man is overrated.
I've shown you the slap. My spring reverb is mono. This is just a delay, Sound Toys delay. And we've gone over these. But man, what a great vocal. Let's just check it out in the track.
Baby, I called to say I gave up that narcotic. Gonna reside in my dreams, that's where I'll make it. Where the memory of me is never faded.
I could listen to this song all day long. Macy's record, I don't know exactly when you're going to see this, but probably when you see it, it'll be out. Check for it regardless. And pretty proud of what I did on it, and I love this song. Hope you can take some stuff away from what we just did. I want to emphasize the philosophy of why we did certain things, not so much how we did them, because I think it's the old give you a fish, teach you to fish concept. And some good stuff here. All right, see you next time.
We just are still basking in the glow of a show that you'll see on July 10th. We thought we would try to add a little perspective to something that people are having a really overt reaction to, correct?
Oh, that's an understatement.
Yeah, we've got some emails. We'll show you some pictures, some
I
other
say
things.
that humbly, by the way.
Yeah, no, I feel very humbled. So let's start from the beginning. 2 points I want to make that when I thought about this. One is we're going to put some of our team in this chair. Cole is sitting here now. People who were very seminal in making the award show come about. And the lesson in this is that everybody who sits in this chair, they start and their foundation is that they're audio engineers. You're going to see guys who are TV directors and guys who asset managers and guys who are just digital gurus and a guy whose signature in terms of giving us our look and stuff, but every one of them at their base is an audio engineer. So the lesson in that is that don't stay limited. It is a portal to you doing a whole lot of things, and I am the guy who's not an audio engineer, and I am as proud to associate this with this family as anything I've ever done. Secondly, here's what we also want to say, especially from Dave and I and the rest of the team. You guys kicked this award show off. You're going to see press in Forbes and press in this one and pictures in Times Square and just amazing things that you really created. So we want to go back to the beginning where some of you put up your hard-earned dollars, and what you really did is you allowed us to hire our line producers, you allowed us to hire our PR team, you allowed us to get a chance to kick this off in an official way. And there's no reason for Dave and I to preach to you about how to behave if we don't behave that way. So we really need to thank you for that. What do you think?
Absolutely. One of the things we did early on was we did a community, I guess it was a Google hang with some of you guys, and I was so impressed with the intellect, the enthusiasm, and the ideas we got heard. Remember, we got our audience contributed to this show in a real way, and that plus a lot of things made it a show to be proud of, because you guys ensured that your access as non-professionals was guaranteed, and without that we have no show. It's just another award show. So the guys that went through our funding sources, they kind of, in a way, Herb, they kind of let us know that maybe this was a good idea, because remember that was early on and we weren't sure. When they came through, we were like, okay, let's go to fourth gear now.
Let me tell you what else they did. As much as we try to run perfectly, we don't. We get pretty close. You stuck through some merchandising issues. We had to remove somebody from that thing and it slowed down the process. We thank you for that. We tried to clean all that up. For those of you who didn't write checks, what you did do is you subscribed and you supported, or you sent us information on Facebook, or you talked to us about how good the idea was, or you gave us your impressions. So along with it, whether you could or could not write a check, all those contributions gave us wind to move forward. So we want to thank you for that. We want to acknowledge that.
Absolutely.
A bunch of different people to say things about. Our co-hosts were just studs and studettes. They were
studettes.
Young Guru and CLA were just amazing. Marcella Araika, if you could have seen the number of times Dave and I researched how to say her last name, and we just got it right at the end. Even when I what you don't know is when I ran the run through when I was running rehearsal, and she heard it the first time, she said, well, it's really this way. And I was like, and we scrambled to go get that right. Incredible. Lisa Loeb gave her contributions as well. And as they improvised and covered things and do stuff, amazing. You'll see it when you watch the show. So thank you to them. Along with your contributions and moving forward, here's another set of folks who stepped up and kind of who didn't have to because it wasn't part of the original plan. Very quickly, we found out that this was going to be wildly expensive. Not semi-expensive, not sort of expensive. And the real reason is because Dave and I feel an obligation to make sure that what we do for the community not only meets the Pensado brand standard, but also takes the community to where nobody has taken them to. We're taking you all out of the dark, which we've done. We're taking you out of this secret thing that nobody knows about. And you're not going to have to compromise shit when we do something. Nothing. There'll be no second-tier stuff if we're involved. You guys are brilliant, and we're going to represent it brilliantly. So I called Dave one day and said, we can't breathe any longer unless we reach out. So a lot of dedicated people, which we'll talk about, stepped up, and folks like this, with no hesitation, stepped up. Sometimes with dough, sometimes with gear. PreSonus, Mixed with the Masters, Barefoot, Blackout, Naris, McDSP, iZotope, Indaba, Gobbler, SESAC, Full Sail, Zoe and the family at Studio at the Palms, Manny and Amy at Larrabee, Bedrock LA, Music Connection, Eric Batelli just got down on our behalf. My mama Rose at the record plant, she just, oh my God, love her. G-Tech, UA, all said we're down. And Dave, to you, I put you in a position that I know is uncomfortable for you with maybe 3 or 4 days to go to the awards. I said, Dave, I need you to pick up the phone and use your clout and call a few people. You did. You killed it. Just amazing efforts. On our team in that front, 2 other people are amazing. Chevy Shovlin.
Can I stop you real quick?
Sure, man.
Herb brings up a good point. I shouldn't have to go ask you for money. You should volunteer to give it to me because I'm uncomfortable with that.
Okay, thank you. Chevy Shovlin, if we were to give out MVP awards, he certainly gets
The
one.
Chevster.
Tireless worker. Been with us from the beginning.
Yeah. You know what? Might not be a Pensado's place had it not been for Chevy.
No question.
Coming up to us at an early AES.
First guy who decided to have a company support us full time.
Yeah.
Tireless on this thing. It didn't matter what I asked Chevy to do, whenever, it was done immediately. Kyla Stewart, who you guys don't know, made it rain in places outside of audio and was just, again, tireless.
Was that a strip club reference?
Make it rain.
Yeah.
Kyla's fine. So, I mean, I love her husband. No disrespect
Mark,
to Lainey.
I apologize.
Mark's her
Mark.
brother-in-law. Lainey's her husband. So, but killed it. And somebody else
That's right, Lainey, my bad.
That's right. Somebody else we should point out. Studio 202 and Ron Dixon. Hard to quantify his contributions, huh?
You know what, Herb? A lot of people, when they go to our website or when the show starts, you see the logo for Studio 202. Some people might not know that much about Ron. Why don't you give us like a 10-second description of what Ron does? Because he's very germane to the show. Been a supporter from day one. He's a friend of Herb's. He's a great guy. He helps the community. A very socially conscious man, very intelligent. Take it, Herbert.
He's the Black Steve Jobs. That's it. He's in D.C. He's putting together a tech campus, which right now consists of 2 buildings. There will be a third. His brilliance and vision is unparalleled.
Yeah.
His passion about production, helping people, creating digital patents and licenses and recording and film and digital media content is insane. He's at the tip of the spear in Washington, D.C. for all things digital new media. We're very close friends. I'm a participant in his endeavor. And he is so passionate about Pensado's Place that for the last 3 or 4 years, he's come out here. As you see this show, just understand this, that with no cost to us, he sent us the highest, best gear, cameras, memory cards, other things. Our director will come up here in a second, would refuse payment, would refuse us even paying for shipping. Did it at the risk of one of his productions, which is actually taking place 24 hours after. Didn't care. He was on every production call. It got to the point where some very, very smart people with tons of expertise would go, what does Ron think? And I mean, he flew out here, went through the rooms, talked to me about drapes, it was just amazing. So he's the most humble guy I know.
Yeah.
He wants no credit whatsoever. Then it's a bad thing to be my friend because I'm going to pull the cover off that dude. What can I tell you? We couldn't have done it. I mean, we would have had, just so you know, which you might not know, our rental of that gear
No, I do know.
would have been
talked about it.
north of $25,000, and we couldn't have done it. And he just sent it for free. So the point of it is that community, your community, are built of people like that. And what we keep seeing is that this affirmation, this idea that we just threw out where, God, you're just so much better if you act like a community. You're stronger if you act like a community. And anybody who does want to act like a community, you have other places to go. You shouldn't be a Pensado. If you want to be a Pensado, join the community effort. And then you got people like that who'll step up and take care of you. And God, Dave and I are humbled about it. Meet Cole Nystrom. Cole is Dave's day-to-day assistant in the studio. He is a fierce talent, right?
Cole could be the best one.
Cole is, and you have picked extraordinary assistants. And the way so he's Dave's assistant. I throw stuff at Cole, from executive stuff to administrative stuff to other kinds of things. He handles it incredibly. Just a quick story. We went down to we sent Dave and Cole down to Blackbird. And Dave gets a lot of attention, rightfully so, he's earned it. Within about a day, Cole was teaching, and then after they came back, I got a call from the head of the school, obviously very happy about Dave, but spent about 20 minutes on the phone with me talking about Cole. And could he come back and teach? And how incredible
He's
he was.
22 years old.
Been out of school 2 years. It's just amazing. So,
It was
Bud,
a blast, though. We had
we
such
love
a good
you,
time
man.
out there.
Yeah. You had a very interesting sort of perspective, in my opinion, about
I did.
the show. You got to sort of, your family came down, so they got a chance to take a look. What was your take on, was there a difference between the way the enthusiasts were treated and the pros? What was your take?
No, I actually didn't feel that there was really too much difference between either of them. It felt like everyone was equal. It felt like everyone just came together for, just the show. They came together for the community. I didn't feel any animosity or any resentment from pros to amateurs. It really felt like everyone was gelling really well.
And one of the things that you found out later, we won't say the names. We had some people who hadn't spoken in a couple of years, and the event allowed them to get past that. And
Hopefully.
Right? Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
But it just seemed to have that kind of feel, did it?
Yeah, yes in capital letters, 5 exclamation points, and some of those other things. The whole benchmark and foundation upon which this thing grew was predicated on the fact that some people don't get recognized like they should in our industry, not just the engineers and producers that don't get televised time on the Grammys.
Right.
But guys that work just as hard in a little studio in a small town in Iowa, or a couple of guys driving around in an ice cream truck,
Right.
or a
Yeah.
clown running around a train.
Yeah.
And so the whole foundation was that not just at the awards show, not just every Thursday when you see the show, but all the time we're all in the same club, we're all equal. If you have a passion for all things audio and you have a respect for your fellow man, this has been the place that you come to.
Yep.
And the show was a celebration of that. And I thought, Herb, to answer your question, I thought it was spectacularly wonderful and beautiful. Like, I saw patient pros giving kick drum advice. I saw patient amateurs waiting to talk to the pros. The pros were exemplary, and it just made me proud to be an engineer.
Yeah.
It made me proud to be a human, and it made me proud that with your gifts and help that we were able to become a focal point for this thing. Can I finish?
Yeah,
a long
please.
time ago, I used this stupid analogy, and you hated it, so I'm gonna clearly do it again. We're not the sun, we're not the magnifying glass, but we're the people that hold the magnifying glass and scorch small insects with it.
That's
Sorry,
right.
Peter. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. Lighten up. But you know what? We didn't do anything other than just become a focal point in a place where this sort of thing can happen. And I think the beauty of Saturday night for me was to see it in person happen. We've seen it online. Our Pensado students are the benchmark for all things good in audio, and we saw it happen in person.
Chongor is going to join. Stay there, Cole. Chongor, just stand right in between here. These two guys, Chongor Goncz, who you know from Corner Office, what Cole does for Dave, Chongor kind of does for me. And Chongor's role in this award show was pretty much everything that Herb did. Because we live close to each other, Chongor would, first of all, Chongor is an athletic beast. Chongor will be doing nothing and say, Herb, I'll be over. I'm going to run 9 miles first, and then I'll be right over.
Even after he got his car, he still runs?
Man, listen, he parks his car 10 miles away and then runs to it. I had a chance to meet his mom Saturday at the awards, and I think the things I said about him kind of made her emotional. It was kind of cool. You probably saw if BP used it, if not, we'll use it, that one day he just was working so long. So we'll start working at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. So he has spent the night. Chongor, so pretty much anything I'm doing, I just grab him and say, extend it and do it. Again, just actually he's a Dean's List guy. He's got another year in school. So these two guys, for you guys who are young in the business and aren't there yet, are what you kind of want to aspire to be. They got picked because of their excellence, right?
Oh, totally.
And now we can't even imagine not doing stuff without them. So our philosophy is throw everything at you, handle it, work it out, figure it out, handle it. And so Chongor, you, I think specifically for the show as it got close, you kind of were the asset manager, but you also kind of, maybe more than anybody than Dave, get her thought. You learn anything about detail and nuance and all that stuff?
Well, just being part of the award show process was, first of all, just incredible. And seeing all the little details that go into making the award show and just how important execution is to something with an award show like that is just crucial. And yeah, it was just incredible.
Yeah.
At any point in time, did you want to hurt Herb severely?
Not at all.
Many times.
That's not what you told me, Chongor.
Right, exactly.
Come on, we rehearsed this, man.
I apologize.
He takes a licking and keeps on ticking. I will tell you that.
Our generation, I use that term loosely, sometimes complains about the 20-year-olds. These two guys are both under 22. And they complain about they're lazy and this and that and the other, but these guys, they're hard workers. They didn't sleep. And Cole is the hardest working person I know. And if you want to put your system up against mine in an octagon, I'll bet.
Cool.
I'll take you on. My guy can kick your guy's ass.
UFC, fuck that. We practice toe holds and shit like that. It's, all right, so we're going to set that up and film.
This octagon, we'll give them each a task, and whoever does it correctly, and then we'll give them
each an 1176.
We start that with
see if they
having
can knock each other out.
we start them after having no sleep for 2 days.
Exactly.
Because I know my guy can stay up longer than your guy.
Well, one of the metaphors for this is that no matter what the endeavor is, I think that mixing is about attention to detail. It's about small things. It's about that move that makes a difference, right? And putting on this event is not dissimilar from mixing, right?
Not at all.
Right? These are audio engineers, and what he does as an executive and as something else is built upon his mixing skills. What Chongor does, and I will tell you, as the guy probably in our team who can make that call, they have as much executive opportunity if they chose to be executives as anybody is on our team. In fact, maybe more than a bunch of people on our team. They just have come out. So the new hybrid that you get, it's that you are multi-talented, you're aware of much more, you don't keep the box. So thanks. We couldn't do this shit without you guys.
It was such a pleasure.
Man,
Thanks, guys.
Incredible. One of the things that was so cool is that the pro guys who came in early, they just pitched in to help. And we didn't even ask. I'll tell you, that night there's a cat named LeGrand from Maryland. Man, he was there just standing saying, "What do you need me to do?" And I thought I knew him. And he said, "No, I'm one of the guys who used the crowdfunding thing." He turned into, we actually had him pick up Young Guru. He said, let me show for that. He goes to the studio with them, stays there all night. They have breakfast in the morning. He ends up having this incredible experience. And then they say to me later, "Man, we want to hang out with the LeGrand dude." Chevy's guys were putting up speakers in the VIP reception, and Barefoot, I think it was, that was out front. Tyler and his guys, incredible. I don't care what Barefoot does; they're doing it with us in the future. Incredible. And this dude was there working with a Pensado T-shirt, and I was like, I think I saw him. So remember when we were walking through the lobby, the guys from Charlotte?
Yeah.
He said he was looking out his window, and he said to me, somebody's putting up speakers. I got to be involved in that. He throws on a T-shirt and goes down, and it was that kind of community spirit that was just unreal.
Yeah, the Barefoot guys kind of disappointed me because they got their food before I did in the lobby, and I offered one of them $20 for his tacos, and he refused to sell them to me. He ate half his tacos. I had already eaten all of mine, and I told him I'd give him $5 for what was left, and he still didn't do it.
Damn it!
I don't like those guys,
Damn
sir.
it!
I don't
you know
like
what?
those guys.
I'll call him right after the show.
Talk to Chevy about that.
I'll call him right after the show.
No, you know what? They're great guys.
Oh my God! Came through big time for us.
But that's a true story. That's a true story.
Meet Brian Petersen. A lot of folks know him. Yeah, and he deserves the applause. Here's the short version of the long story. Brian, through a series of emails, came to us. It's now probably been a year and a half, maybe longer. Very quickly, without him wanting to do it, became the line producer of this show. So the reality of it is, every time you see Pensado's plays, this is the guy who makes it get up and run daily along with our director, or weekly along with our director, for sure. Brian has an unusual gift as a photographer. His ability to create signature portraiture is as scary as I've seen. It's amazing, his ability to do that. So we throw lots of stuff at him. He charges the shit out of us too. And we have this very special financial relationship.
I'm going to take up for my guy. He's a bargain at twice the price.
There's no question about it.
But you know what? He doesn't take photographs. He captures people's personality.
Yeah, he takes art.
Like the picture he took of Mike Dean with the smoke.
Oh man.
Capturing those moments where you and I are flashing gang signs.
That's right. Exactly. Caught me stealing some pickles from the refrigerator.
But you've told me this. You've told me this a million times. There has to be a continuity to the look of our show, and Brian is that continuity.
Absolutely.
He's a great engineer, audio engineer, and so I don't know that he could do this without that knowledge. But the show always has a look and a quality and a vibe that I don't think anybody else could do.
No,
I'm giving him a reason to double his salary now, but
thank you, Dave, because that pressure falls on me.
No, it's these bastards that have to call it won't give me money without calling.
The look of things and the style of things is a very important thing to me. And I just won't do.
That's why I'm your partner.
Absolutely, because of your look and style. Look at that haircut. That haircut is smoking.
I got that look and that style.
Yes, you do, brother. The most interesting man in the world. So Brian doesn't really get a chance to go anyplace because I won't really mess with anybody else. So BP1, your talents it's nice for us to tell people how talented you are. Secondly, the way you ingratiated yourself into the family and the cornerstone that you mean to us is critical. And so at these kind of events, for me, I like to let Brian just loose. And he just took his camera and did all the behind the scenes stuff, which you'll see in the upcoming things. What was your takeaway? What was the vibe from behind the scenes?
Well, one, yeah, it was just a great event, and it's an honor to be able to work together. But if you listen carefully, what you hear are like the crumbling of walls and the breaking of glass ceilings, to the fact where, again, Cole touched on it and you talked about it, but
Damn.
but like, CLA came up behind me and grabbed my shoulder and said, "This is one of the best events," and JJP. And then also some of our friends we've had by the show who have come just for the taping to check it out and talk about, what it's like even for them starting out as an engineer. And yet they could be in the same room and be able to talk to these great mixers, and even interact with you guys, celebrities now, and to be able to, to be able to even interact and ask questions from, celebrity artists like Matt Maher, and again, to ask questions of the top guys in our business, and to honestly be in a place where they can ask those questions where, when I went to school about 18 years ago, recording school, I had to read a textbook, and I never got to interact with guys actually making music. So for me, I think you've really changed the game. I think Pensado Awards has been part of that.
We changed it.
And it's just been great to see that. And Saturday was really seeing that in action.
To your point, Guru came up to me at the VIP reception, almost like a little kid. He said, "Hey man, hey." And I was like, "Okay, is there a problem? And do I need to change my script?" He said, "Now remember," he said, can you introduce me to CLA?
Oh, that's so
It was
cool.
his co-host, and he didn't get in till that Saturday, and Guru was very quick on his feet. And I took him over, and it was fascinating to watch him. He just was thrilled to meet Chris. Chris didn't even know who he was for a second. He went, oh, and they both had this moment that I just don't know that you capture all the time. How about the setting? It seemed like the setting added to it. Did it?
Yeah, it was electric. And being at the Fairmont, too. You know, it's a beautiful place right there in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Really classy. And the V, you know, the party, the red carpet, all that going on before, you know, to see just everyone coming together and interacting and having a good time. You know, and just part of our community is so many of the mixers, you know, all interacting and making music, but just party beforehand, celebrate and have a good time. It was just great to see that.
Brian has been responsible for us landing some really incredible guests, Matt Maher and a whole bunch of other people. He's very well known. He's shot for a lot of folks and so on and so forth. And we're lucky to be able to get him to devote so much time to our endeavor. And I don't think anybody messes with our endeavor if they didn't believe in it. You know, I think that's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's a choice. This guy has outsized talents. Excuse me. I don't mean this as a plug, but it will end up sounding like one. In about 2 months, our book comes out, the Pensado Papers, and we'll talk about that in the future. But one of the things that I love the most about our book is you're going to see some signature photos in there that we take every week at this show that just are bad ass, and it's this dude right here who does that, right?
Beyond a doubt. Beyond a doubt.
Huge contribution. We love you, dude. BP. The good reverend, I call him. JD, bring your buns out here too.
JD.
Couple people that we want to point out. The helpers who helped Karen Dunn, our line producer. Cliff Goodlow in particular, they're from SAELA. And then there's a bunch of helpers from the Art Institute, Inland Empire. Their disposition was
they were so cool.
They were willing to do anything and everything. The other thing, we'd be remiss if we didn't shout out the Pensado students.
Yeah.
Always there, always ready. Ma'at and Gordon and those guys. Big shout out to Bill who couldn't be there.
FL.
But that team, FL, of course, FL friend. How do we not speak about him? Really, really, really incredible. Our AV person, Sean, all incredible. Just amazing.
How many people you think were instrumental in having to put something like this? There's probably like 80, 90, right? When you take
yeah.
I mean, there was a lot.
Yeah.
How many months did you spend? We started the idea in November?
October.
Mm-hmm. Bear with me, I have a math degree. Okay. October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June.
Take away 1, add 3.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I can do derivatives. That's a real number in years.
Right.
Wow.
Long time.
Man, my friend.
Well, I mean, here's what it is.
It wasn't like 30 minutes a day. It started out at a big chunk of your day, half your day early on, and then there just weren't enough hours in the 24 near the end.
Kind of.
You literally ran yourself into the ground with your health.
You know, I never felt bad. It was just a question of if you and I are going to do something, we're just going to do it. So whatever that requires, sometimes it may require less. This one required more.
Well, you surprised me with something really cool. I won't give it away at the show, so I'm going to surprise you. I've got a Blue Cross endorsement for you.
Thank you. Because I just had my blood panel came back. I need some help.
I'm not trying to make light of this man, but he sacrificed his health for us.
I feel great.
You were wobbly Saturday because you were so dehydrated and everything else.
This was, we made it, and a lot of help, a lot of moving parts. It was an interesting test as a leader because, a lot of people have to buy into your thing. Mm-hmm. And, we always try to make it fun and give people lots of room to do what they need to do and try to keep the animus down. We'll jerk a chain if we need to, but we didn't much. We hired the best, and we have the best on our team. And most importantly, they bought in. I have the private emails. They bought in. We didn't have to sell them on this, and that's a testament to whatever we built, and a testament to the people.
Everybody on the team might, well, the guys you're meeting now clearly are the nucleus of the team, but there's another element to the team, and every one of those major players had a connection to audio. Like Karen had a connection to audio.
Absolutely.
Chevy had it was like,
These are audio people.
it's pretty neat. I didn't think about that till just then.
Meet another one. The guy you're going to meet now, Jonathan Dean's reasonably new to us. This is the guy who switches our show every week. So when you see it, he's the one behind the controls making it happen. Incredibly varied career. Audio engineer at the base of it. Mixes, masters, has done stuff with web design, technically directs for other companies like Red Bull and Discovery. We are happy to have him. When you see the show on July 10th, he's the one who's switching that show. And that's one, a complicated thing because you're integrating with lots of different production parts. And two, I wanted to kind of get his perspective on how it felt from the, during rehearsals and the production aspect. Because again, some people just come in and do the job and they go, but this felt a little bit different. Yes?
Oh, yeah. I mean, to me, it was really special from a directorial perspective, just in seeing the crew engage. Everybody really cared about the show, top form. From the jib work to the camera guys. Definitely shout out to David Passy, Stephen Fox, Austin, the whole team.
Yep.
It was really incredible how people pulled it together. So.
It felt to me like there was something extra going on. The guys he just mentioned are guys we met here at the Stream where we shoot, and they were lucky enough and their schedules worked out that they could grace us with this, and you'll see the level of expertise and the production quality. A lot of folks have reached out to Dave and I about the production quality that were there. The way the room looked, the way it operated, the way it went down. You guys just smoked this. I think we got an appointment next year to do this again. Do you think?
Yeah, I think so too.
Know that, I don't know if we said this privately to you or not, but please know from Dave and I's perspective, beyond the contributions to the award show, what you bring to this is just seminal. Like an amazing thing to know that our fortunes are in the hands of somebody who's just this good and this smart. Wouldn't you think that?
Oh, yeah. Plus, he's so gifted and talented. To replace him, we'd have to hire 5 people.
Yeah, there's no question. He's doing stuff with B.O.B. and just an amazing amount. And again, for you guys at home, an audio engineer does much more. I believe so strongly that taking this space is a portal to so much more. I mean, we're actually living it. And now people are like, whoa, these guys are incredible. And they really are. JD, we're thrilled to have you, bud.
Thanks. Honored to be here.
Please don't leave. Shit, I don't want to have to run you down and commit violence. Jonathan Deans, you learn a lot from this guy. How about our lady Cindy?
Oh, Cindy.
Cindy, come in here. This is Cindy Escalante. You've seen before. This is the lady who does exactly what you see right here every week, and she takes about 10 or 15 years off of Dave and I every week. Let me see the mic, JD. It's just for Cindy. And she had the pleasure of, maybe not the pleasure, but she had the job of getting a lot of folks ready for the PA Awards, right?
I did.
Were they nice? Were they nervous? What was the feeling?
Everyone was amazing.
Really?
Everyone was great, and I could feel the energy and the love with everyone coming my way.
Mm-hmm.
And talk about a handsome group of sound engineers, ladies.
And the ladies there that night were hot too, right?
Yes, everyone was good looking. Women, both men.
They were.
I think Dave Pensado and Herb need to start an online dating site here for the single.
Don't give her access to
No
women.
question, because I'm trying to think of a title right now, actually. The Pensado Hookups.
Thank you,
Cindy,
Cindy.
thank you. We just won't do it without you.
And by the way, Cindy does have an audio background. She listens to the radio a lot.
Absolutely. And that's where a lot of engineers started. We had a particular, and we'll wrap this up here in just a sec. We had a particularly interesting kind of connection to Music City. When Dave and I went to Nashville in Thanksgiving, it touched us.
Yeah.
When you went back, it touched us.
Yeah.
And in this particular award show, our production company, which is Morris Light and Sound, were insane. I have worked with a lot of production companies, and they do big stuff. Our thing was not big compared to their big. Kenny Chesney shows and Florida Georgia Line and stadium shows. They treated us like we were that important. They sent a team of killers who just, I watched the room transform in hours from a banquet room to something special.
And their personalities never altered.
They were so cool, so professional. John and Danny and Chris and Matt and a bunch of others. I'll tell you one of the guys. You know, you get a feel for these guys. So there's one guy had this like this perfect hairdo that went up like this into a point. But he gave off this
sure what
vibe.
qualifies as a hairdo.
Well, it was something. A hair did. But there was something about him that said, "Don't mess with him." So I walked by him. I said, "My sense is not to mess with you," and he said, "That would be correct."
Whoa.
And I said, "Yeah, I had that feeling." He said, "Yeah, somebody hit on my wife like yesterday, and I'm not sure he's conscious yet." And I said,
Wow.
I said, "I thought so. So, welcome. Can I get you anything?" And he went back to rigging and doing his thing. They were pro.
He was teasing, right?
No, he was not
Oh
teasing.
my gosh.
They were professional. Their expertise was off the charts. They solved a ton of problems. And they flew out here from Nashville to do it. We're in LA. We didn't have to do that. Incredible. Our PR team, which is the best in the business. Robbie Klein and Lisa Roy, you can't say enough of it. Robbie Klein is based in Nashville, another Nashville connection. At the nth hour, Martina McBride agreed to present. And just a Hail Mary we threw, and she said, absolutely.
She's a pro.
She is such a pro. She doesn't suffer fools. And when I asked her about it, she said she had a great time. It was incredibly done. Stephanie Spitfire Willis, I called with 18 hours to go. Said they were coming anyways. Can you do the red carpet? She said, "I got you." We had no other discussion. She handled it.
Her smile is infectious.
Stephanie's.
No matter what is going on around you, you look at her smile and you just go, "Okay, everything's cool."
Absolutely. And you know, there are some winners from Nashville, and one guy who we kind of put our arms around and said, "Come on, hang with us," who I think needed it. Had a traumatic experience a couple weeks ago that, you know, we all go through, and he was going through his. And Johnny McBride came out, and what was fun is I saw him Saturday at he actually he called me Friday night about 1:30 in the morning just to tell me they had checked in. And his enthusiasm was up. He felt good. He knew he was around people who loved him. Then I saw him again at sound check the next day, and it was just a hang with, like, he calls us kindred spirits. And what I love so much is that he kind of was back. You know, he got to be amongst
I felt that too.
his friends.
You know what? After the award show, he stayed in the lobby for about an hour
With you?
talking. Well, not just me, but anybody that wanted to question when there were multiple people would come by. This one little rapper girl came by. It was so cute. He just patient and friendly. Doesn't change a bit with anybody.
He doesn't. And last thing before we get out of here. No, if you don't know Jack Joseph Puig, you should. Right? Okay.
JJP.
Jack is a special guy. You're going to see a pre-show called JJP Does the VIP. We put him on there. He is one of the most acclaimed engineers ever. We asked him to do something that most people would be afraid to ask him. He said yes graciously. You'll enjoy that pre-show. Jack, we love you. He sent me a text the next day and he said, "Hey man, how do you feel a day later? I think history has been made." We have 1,000 emails from the pros and the enthusiasts just really taken by this. So get yourself together for, you know, a week from now on July 10th. Hopefully enjoy the show. We enjoyed what it took to bring it. And lastly, I'd say to you, partner, we took the Hail Mary, right?
No, I just took the You took the Hail Mary. No,
we took the Hail Mary. In wrapping up, and I want you to wrap up, you and I know the rest. Mm-hmm. And you know the bet that we made. Mm-hmm. And Saturday afternoon, an hour before the award show, when I couldn't get $40 out of the ATM, we pretty much bet the farm. Yeah. Thanks to folks, we've recovered, but that's a very scary place to be. And it's just what we do.
The whole show had an alive quality to it. It never was static. Yeah. You know, it was always dynamic. It was always moving, changing, growing, shrinking, and that made it logarithmically more difficult to understand how to fund it in advance. Whew. It made it almost impossible to manage. And it's one thing to have a plan and execute it. Mm-hmm. That would be Steve Jobs. That would be Carly Fiorina. That would be top CEOs. But my friend, you managed this thing that was just, you'd get something stable and another thing would just kind of slide out and just capture your attention, and you did all the work in keeping this thing funded. And I don't think anyone else on the face of the earth could have pulled this thing off. And you didn't just pull it off. You pulled it off with magic and art and creativity, intellect. Something as simple that people don't understand. When you see this award show, if you weren't there, when you see it, it's a living event. It has a flow. It has a pace. It has all of these things that only Herb could execute. And as a spectator at that point in time, because you and I we were just sitting there. We couldn't control anything at that point in time. And to see it all come to fruition in a way that I was just so proud of the event, but I was even more proud of what you had accomplished, because you've done this before, and you've done bigger things before, but this was 100% you, and size wasn't the impressive element here. It was execution. It was amazing what you did, and the thing that I'm the most proud of, and I'll transition into my closing thing if you're ready for that.
All right.
Unless you have something else you want to say. Any compliments from me? Nothing at all?
Well, if you let me say it, I'll say it.
I took it over for once.
Absolutely.
Mark this episode number down. But anyway, my friend, I was so proud of the fact that the entire time that this thing was evolving and growing, and some funding was needed here, if we were short there, you never once let the audio community down. You never once cheaped out. I mean, if it was hot dogs, they were going to be $10 hot dogs. Absolutely. Because you always felt that the audio community deserved the best in this moment in time. And because it was about us, for us, you created something with a lot of hard work that really exemplified everything good about the industry. So for all of those that were there and ate and were on the red carpet and hung out and talked and interacted and received awards, you know we love you, and you know that we're appreciative of what you did, and you've read the emails. So
take us home.
Maybe I just did. I don't know. Guys, if he works this hard, we need to work this hard. And we've created something that now has a life to it. And when I say we, I mean you guys on the other side of that camera. We've created something that's kind of cool. And how we mobilize it, how we use it in the future is up to us. Herb has grand ideas. We need your input. We've still got charitable components to execute. We've still got a couple of people out in the Antarctic that haven't seen the show. We got to reach out to them soon. Herb and I are planning a lot of things that are going to incorporate you and need your help. So thanks for always being there for us. Kudos to the Pensado students. You were there for us once again, you know, Herb, every time we asked of them. So anyway, I'm a little flowery. I'm a little emotional because it was just a wonderful night for me, and I know it was a wonderful night for whoever was there. When you guys watch this, let us know what you think. Tell us what we did right. Tell us where we can improve, and we'll see you next year on that one, right, Herb?
Yeah, exactly.